Developing story of a STARFlight nurse who fell to her death on the Greenbelt.
It happened while the helicopter crew was rescuing a woman from the Greenbelt behind the Barton Hills neighborhood. Now, Kate Whitehall is live in South Austin with the details. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, at this point, we know that around 8:30 last night, EMS received a call about a woman who had fallen in this section of the Greenbelt, and so STARFlight was called out. 46-year-old Kristen McLean, a registered nurse on the STARFlight team, was helping hoist the woman from the Greenbelt when officials tell us that she fell and died. Now, at this point, authorities have not released how the hoist failed or how high they were at the time she fell to her death. Last night when the Austin Travis County EMS held their press conference to talk to the media about this tragic accident, they didn't want to release many details and said the NTSB would be investigating.
During the hoist extrication of a victim from the Greenbelt, one of our rescuers fell from the hoist and was fatally injured.
And in case you aren't familiar with our Barton Creek Greenbelt system, it is a winding 7.5+ mile path that goes from Barton Springs Pool past 360, and at times it can be rugged, and many people like to climb the steep cliffs that have caves. Now, at this time, we don't know how the woman fell, whether she was possibly climbing or if she just fell while jogging on the Greenbelt, but it's not unusual for STARFlight to be called in to help in these sorts of rescues, because if folks were to actually go back on foot, it could take quite some time. So STARFlight is well trained in performing these rescues, so we certainly hope to learn later on today what exactly happened. Of course, we'll keep you posted. For now, we're live in South Austin. Kate Whitehall, KXAN News.
Yeah, Kate, we know the NTSB is going to be investigating, and you know they're always going to look at factors when it comes to the crash. And one thing they look closely at has to be the weather, David. Did that play a role when it came to that very tragic accident?
Right, and of course we're still not sure. That all has to be carried out. But what I can tell you is that a boundary of really gusty winds came into the area last night, and wind speeds here in Austin did increase after sunset. This is a graph of Austin's wind gusts from 9 p.m. through 11 p.m. spanning that accident last night. All over town, including in the Barton Creek Greenbelt, winds were gusting to or just above 28 miles per hour.
So what happens next here? Well, we're taking a closer look at the NTSB investigation that continues today. So let's check in with Alicia Inns for an in-depth look at those details. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Yeah, you know, here at UMC Brackenridge is where the rescued patient was taken last night. She is expected to recover from her injuries. They were non-life threatening at this point, so we're waiting to get an update on that, see if or when she leaves the hospital here. But now, as you mentioned, the National Transportation Safety Board will conduct an investigation. What they do is they put together what they call a GO team, and it's a group of people that's assigned to kind of respond as quickly as possible after an accident like this. And these are some of the key factors that they're going to be looking at as they conduct their investigation. So, for example, they'll look at operations. They'll look at the history of the accident, the flight, and crew members' duties while on board. They'll also look at air traffic control and do a reconstruction of the air traffic services while this flight was taking place. And as you heard Sally and David mention, the weather is a big key factor in this. They're going to be gathering all the pertinent weather data from the National Weather Service, and they'll also look at local news stations like ours to see what the weather forecast was. They're going to look at human performance in terms of study of the crew performance and all before the accident factors that might have involved human error, including fatigue, medication, alcohol, drugs. That's all part of their investigation, no matter what the accident. And then survival factors. They're going to document the impact forces, the injuries, evacuation, things like that, and all crash fire rescue efforts. That's just part of their protocol when they do this. Now, I also did some digging, and I looked at over the last 10 years, the NTSB has investigated numerous helicopter accidents, and they've actually issued over 100 safety recommendations on helicopter-specific safety and crashes issues. So this is something that they say they're used to seeing sometimes, and it has been an issue in the past. So they're really looking to investigate something like this and figure out how they can make it and prevent it from happening in the future. So, of course, we're going to be watching this investigation very closely as it moves forward, especially today. We'll keep our eye on it and keep you posted with anything new that we learn. Reporting live in downtown Austin, Alicia Inns, KXAN News.
Okay, thanks, Alicia. Well, this is the first on-duty death in STARFlight's 30-year history. STARFlight began back in May of 1985. It was a partnership then between Travis County, Austin EMS, and the city-owned Brackenridge Hospital. Well, the deal allowed the hospital to provide flight nurses. That, however, ended in 1999 after Seton took over Brackenridge. Since then, STARFlight has provided their own flight nurses.
Here's what we found out when it comes to STARFlight and the safety background. We know the medic helicopter has been accident-free for more than 20 years. That's according to its website. And during evening operations, the rescue team uses night vision goggles. The aircraft is used for a variety of rescue operations, from land to water, even medical calls, of course. Now, this is video from June of 2013. A viewer captured a video of STARFlight crews rescuing a 17-year-old girl who fell 60 feet from a cliff during a hiking trip, and happened near Lake Austin by the Pennybacker Bridge. Make sure you stay with us for continuing coverage of the STARFlight tragedy, and we're going to cover a large chunk of Central Texas and how this flight covers many counties here in Central Texas, but can go even further if needed. And as far as response times goes, once given the call, the team can be airborne within 5 to 6 minutes.